Yes, hello. Um, Good afternoon, good evening. Um, Today I'm going to talk about the BLM anarchist resistance psyop with a law firm um, of Trisha. Why is it a problem, and why I believe it's steering the population the wrong way? This Trisha Lindsay, civil rights attorney, tearing everything down. Blaming government. Um, you know, Using the benefit system as a talking point and not going towards targeting big business, the World Economic Forum. None of that is coming out of their mouth. It's all about the federal government. Federal government is a front. Big business runs the government, and that's what people need to understand. I will not go through her 11-minute video, but it will give you an idea of where I am coming from with this agenda they are using by using activists to gather people to support the big business agenda. Um, Before I go through it, I recommend supporting Aunt BB. Please support her. She's going through, you know, not just condo problems, but problems in Canada. Canada is nearly 2 years now, and the border's still not open. And you know, it's affecting people's lives, just like BB, and she can't travel. With dual citizenship, and all the travel cards she has. She can't travel by air and she can't travel by train. You know, to travel back and forth from Canada to America, and it's been 2 years, and it's not right. She needs that support, and I'll be looking at convoy updates. I'll be looking into that, the convoy updates, and please support Aunt BB by following her work, subscribe to her YouTube channel, give her that support she needs. She's the only best journalist left, best real person that speaks the truth out there, person who's doing this for the duty, not for money. You know, like Scott, it's not a lot of it's not a lot of us, and it can be isolating. So please support BB's work and support Scott's work as well. You know, follow their work, press the bell for updates as well, so you can get notified on their latest videos every time they publish on YouTube. So now I'm gonna go into a bit of taking a cue from BB's last year work, Irregular Warfare, Color Revolutions, and Power Used Against Us instead of abroad. It's used at home. And, in her description, which is accurate, 100% accurate, this is what they've been doing for decades. The USA has waged irregular and unconventional warfare abroad. It's not just the USA, but the whole Five Eyes clan plus one, including Israel, in operations either to prop up and overthrow a government. They often take the form of color revolutions intended to appear as grassroots popular uprising, but the ruling class in the West, especially in the US, places like Canada, places like UK, is now using it against the people in the form of COVID, not just a form of COVID lockdowns. Now we're going through that post COVID lockdown, but it still applies to today. and you notice the Black Lives Matter protest, defunding and abolishing the police, you see that similar sentiments of some certain activists propping, being propped up in the resistance, talking about leveling up, overthrowing just the government, the institutions we need, the national sovereignty you are, advocating to break. They are all corporate neoliberal globalist psychological operations to fool us into something worse than we already have. And yes, it's been said, be careful what you wish for, as they say. This is not just talked about by BB. Scott has mentioned this about unconventional warfare. You can check Scott work on BitChute on that unconventional warfare when you search his videos. And I'll put the link there. I will find videos. I'll find his BitChute channel and I'll put the link there. And you can go through this video. I will send this video link on my below the description of my video, and I'll be putting all of these so you can know how it works. The Michael Pillsbury, who helped found the CIA's main non-governmental organization, the National Endowment for Democracy, and was a Reagan Doctrine specialist on covert proxy wars. And you can read the Army Pocket Guide on unconventional warfare, and you can read about it on CIA Wikipedia about unconventional warfare, about and color revolutions on Wikipedia. You can learn about all sorts of techniques they used about hard power, soft power, sharp powers, and smart power. You should learn all of these, and that is what I'm going to put in the description for you lot to be educated on and what tactics they are using against the mass. And this leads to me problems like this, you know. New World Order corporate Jason Lewis, for example, Black Lives Matter agent provocateur arrested with 6 thugs in Miami. Black Lives Matter is a corporate regime change agenda to neoliberalize privatized police forces in the USA. Jason Lewis and other paid assets smear the overwhelming majority of peaceful protesters who unwillingly take part but don't know the corporate agenda. This is the original raw clip that was used in the previous video where Jason talked about George Soros' New World Order and burning down the government. Police made it clear that they arrested only people who were violent. And you can see the Jason who was featured in the previous video. I'll put the link below on this last year video and the information about Jason's arrest. But I can give you a segment of why you should be very wary of activists that speak New World Order language. It's the big business coded language, which is globalists speak. You should be wary of those. We do not let. So let me go through the video. Our government take control. It doesn't matter about the race. We do not let our government take control. It doesn't matter about the race. It doesn't matter about black or white. We stand together as a unit. We unite as people and we take control. It's about time for a new world order. Yeah! Every day, every fucking day, our people are harassed. Daily, in the hood, every day we are harassed. We cannot live, we cannot breathe, we cannot do anything without them watching our backs 24/7. And that's not how the world belongs. That's not how the world is supposed to be. Today we crushed their system. Listen, my brothers and sisters. Today we do not sleep, and we will not let them sleep.
until it's a new world order. Today we make history, and this time we make it fucking stick. We do not stop. We don't stop tomorrow with the protest.
No.
Because that's the problem. We stop too easy. We stop way too easy. And when we stop, everybody else stops.
Yeah.
So we have to have a voice. There has to be a voice to lead the people.
Yeah.
Every day. So every day we will remind ourselves that we do not sleep until our people have peace.
Yeah.
And as long as the government has control and has say-so of everything that we fucking do, there will never be peace. The justice system is corrupted. It never meant to have peace for the people. It never meant for equality. None of that is true. And we have to realize that. If we do not realize it today, what would happen 5 years from now? What's going to happen 10 years from now? We've been going through this. We've been going through this shit for 50 years plus, even more. And the same thing is going to happen when our children get older. And you got us fucked up. If you think this is going to continue, today we crash the system. Today we burn the system to the ground.
You fuck with the last generation.
Yeah, brothers and sisters. I want to tell y'all this. We do not burn down local businesses. Because the local businesses is the same place where we buy our clothes that's on our backs from. It's the same places where we buy our food and groceries from. Let's not forget this. Let's not burn the local businesses. What we burn
He meant big business.
down. What we burn down
Don't burn down the brands.
is the government. With your voice. And we do not is the government. With your voice, local businesses. What we burn down is the government. With your voice. And we do not stop until it's done. My brothers do no longer will we take it out on the businesses. My brothers and sisters, if you want to take out your anger, take it out on the government officials. Burn the American flag. Because the American flag no longer has any meaning to us. It never had any meaning to us. The COVID-19 is their cause anyway. Everything that happens is because of them. So today we stop this shit. My brothers and sisters, we unite today. And we war for the ones that start with us today. Let's go, my brothers and sisters. I have love for everybody that's here. Mark, let's go.
Yeah. Advocation for burning down the government, burning, national sovereignty. And that's the globalist speak we're talking about. Replacing government for public private partnerships, privatized systems owned by the oligarchs taking and controlling things, replacing public sector controlling governments, which they are already doing, and they have a strategic interest to make sure it gets worse, and they're going to deliver something worse than today. And again, this goes back to what I had a problem with. Um, you know, people who keep talking about burning the system, burning things. You know, I don't think I can find it, but she said something in that lines, and you can go back to the video and look at it for yourself. Today, I'm going to talk about further. I'm going to talk about a massive problem that is taking place and why you should be very wary that these things are happening not just across the globe for years in targeted countries, but it's happening in your doorstep. And this is an article from Bloomberg, September 2021, talking about why wokeism will rule the world. The woke movement could be the next great US cultural export, and it is going to do many other countries some real good. Yeah, some real good in making sure, we can push identity politics and corporate agendas in the form of their package wokeness, and make sure, they get their business agenda is there. So to make sure those countries that were not originally targeted countries that were originally, not investor friendly, become investor friendly. And why does it link to stakeholder capitalism of the of WEF? Um, that points out a lot of nonsense that push out this identity politics, corporate identity politics. We we've been talking about this for the past year. There was a metric, a circle metric I can't find, but one of their agendas was identity politics. It was under you know, their graph, and this is what they want for corporate governance, and it's not just Black Lives Matter identity politics. It also have to do with climate change agendas and what they're going to use that policy in sovereign countries. Things like climate lockdowns, which is being talked about in the establishment. Coming soon, climate lockdowns. Get ready for that. And it's been talked about since 2021. Last year by Euronews, you know, that was mocked as quote unquote conspiracy theory. you know, which is ironic from Euronews talking about Euronews Green, which promotes the COP26 agenda, which is linked to World Economic Forum. So this is very, very funny how they talk about that, and but it's coming from the horse's mouth. They contradict themselves. The establishment is already talking about it since 2020. Is a climate lockdown next? This is from in the Ocon National Review that have ties to think tanks like American Enterprise Institute. I talked about them last time in my last video about their information warfare. This links to what they have in plan because their narratives is crumbling and they need their system to be maintained, their corporate system to be maintained. And this is their plans. This is what's next for our freedoms. The lifting of the whole system of 2020 is a message. It's not, oh, oops, I did wrong. It's not all the way there. It's not. It's not that path. It's not. That's not the case. Their case is that they determine your future, your destiny, your freedoms. They are saying that to you. Big business, World Economic Forum, and they have the power to switch it back anytime. This is their goal. So this is what they are trying to push across not just targeted countries of the global south, but in the very global white north, in across Canada, across Europe, and this is what they want. This is what they want to push identity politics. And this is not just this is, they've been saying it, their cultural export, you know, 2021. But the George Floyd Psy-ops test in 2020 shows it's already been done. It's already been done, and it's being promoted through big news agencies, corporate news agencies. Senegal slave island, moved by George Floyd's death, renames Europe Square. George Floyd's death sparks worldwide protest. You see Senegalese kneeling down. A BLM gathering following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody. Dakar, Senegal, June 9th, 2020. Africans memorialize George Floyd. Enough is enough. And that was the same period. And that was in Ghana. This. And what's funny, this PSYOP occurred May 25th. And that May 25th death occurred on this supranational institution that have been brought off, globalized by globalists at the EU. And it pushes a lot of identity politics, corporate identity politics, big business. And you have this French funded, French puppet, Faki Mahamat, condemning the killing of this psyop in 2020. So the timing is suspect. The timing is really suspect. Ghanaian government holds funeral memorial for George Floyd in the country, Ghana. Global outrage. Countries like UK, New Zealand, Nigeria took to the streets to protest injustice. And it's very strategic. You have artists, Hollywood artists, musicians, R&B and hip hop musicians coming out. Alicia Keys, and how does that link? How does that link? Months later, it links to Nigeria's SARS. It links to Nigeria's SARS. PSYOP. It was nothing more than a PSYOP. There was photo ops around it. It was deliberate. It was at the time of the world was facing a upside down policy, chemical policy, and it was very coordinated, and it was at the time around October, around the time of Nigerian independence, 60th anniversary, and their goal was to smash the police system there, and replace it with privatized police. They did smash the original SARS, but it's now replaced to another name. I forgot the name. Um, this was their plan. There was their agenda to push their private security, private police systems, private public partnerships, which has links to World Economic Forum. You have, you know, US elite in a Washington consensus, people like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden calling on the Nigerian government to hold those accountable, responsible, you know, pointing their fingers, their dirty fingers, in a sovereign country, meddling, and this is what they've been doing for years in the name of big business. So you see the BLM official, you know, official push of privatized policing in Nigeria, you know, and they use a lot of these images where there is interior motives, clear interior motives. I have talked about this globalization of hacktivists, faketivists, I see, packaged for their big business interest is clear as day. And this has happened repeatedly in places like targeted countries like Iran, Syria, Afghanistan, the Middle East. And it's being pushed by think tanks, Western think tanks, corporate think tanks that masquerades themselves as Islamic and it has some identity politics behind it. And some of them, are clearly Anglo-Westerners who have that academia background pushing certain agendas, corporate agendas, that links to the World Economic Forum push towards stakeholder capitalism, trying to save a failing system, neoliberal economic system, to a more fair, inclusive capitalism of their savage capitalist system, which is very telling, and I'm not surprised why I connected this. I'm not surprised of the whole turning out of what's gonna happen and what's happening next, because this is what they've been doing for a long time, pushing distractions, getting people to fall into this reactionary emotional rhetoric, by being manipulated by um, you know the wealthy, the wealthy, the wealthy people with foundation fronts, business interests that have a goal to undermine countries, to undermine their systems and institutions. So this is what they are exporting. to target countries and countries at home. That's why people need to really start researching. They need to start researching how these people work and don't get distracted and manipulated. What happened was bad, it was sick, but that doesn't tell you the full picture. That doesn't tell you the full story. You cannot go with Mockingbird media, face value, for convenience. One day you become awakened and you don't believe mainstream media until something very traumatic happens on TV, television. All of a sudden, your brain switches off. Your brain starts to switch off, and you stop thinking. You stop critically thinking. You stop thinking beyond the TV. It has happened many times through false flags for 2 decades. I witnessed it myself personally with family members. They don't start thinking, they don't start questioning when it comes to reactionary content that manipulate minorities deliberately using identity politics. If you start questioning, you are a problem in the community. That is how you shut down dissent. That is how you shut down incredible investigations into the ruling class. Stopping you from getting to the root of the problem, stopping you from investigating the root of the problem, but just focus on this shiny object, the symptom, and not going after the root problem of the system. And that is why it's very, very important to connect the dots. It's very important to connect the dots. This is dangerous and is advocated by fake left. And this savior complex they're pushing is very, very dangerous. And I just said it. People like to think it's some government initiative, or is this something planted by socialists and communists? No, no. It comes from the private sector. This identity politics, the condescending nature they push on minorities, it comes from the private sector. The biggest racists are in the private sector. Biggest Nazis are in the private sector. The biggest white supremacists are in the private sector. The white supremacists are in the boardroom drawing up this. Wokeism is stronger in the private sector. They even said it for themselves. The establishment. It drives conservatives and libertarians crazy that woke ideas often have more purchase in the private sector than the public sector. Private universities, for example, seem, quote, more woke than public universities. Yes, pushing identity politics. You can see the difference. You can see the corporatization, the big business agenda around identity politics. It's not just in the corporate politics halls of Washington consensus, it's in the academia halls of the private sector and in the corporate world. The halls of power in Washington are just, they're not like, yeah, Twitter, Google, or Yale University. This is their agenda, this is their role, and it connects back to stakeholder capitalism. If I can find it, We Forum can tell you that. The World Economic Forum can tell you what that is. We want to talk about equal pay. We want to talk about solving the racial gap, dividends. You're going to use these identity politics to push this fascist system. And Scott has talked about this. He talked about this last year in a greater extent. And I will put it under my video chat, my video description. He would do a better breakdown than me of how it works. This is vital. You need to learn this. You need to learn how this system works. This is what they are pushing. The goals of the international community for these companies, these fancy words, granular, exclusive objects for profits. In corporations. This is what they are pushing. Progress, incremental progress. This trickle down economics we've been living under, and this is what they want to remix it with and push. That will not benefit no one but the wealthy. So it's very, this is very telling of why I connected the goals, and it connects back to this. Psy-ops are a crucial weapon in the war against disinformation, published by a member of the American Enterprise Institute, a leading role for the war on terror psyop that caused the West to go into never-ending Mideast wars for the last 2 decades under my generation. And this is what they've been doing. This is what they've been doing for 2 decades. It's more clearer now. After the COVID psyop, it's more clearer now. When you look at 20 years of this authoritarian neoliberal economic system and how it connects to Cyber Polygon is very important. And they've been planning this for the past year, blaming targeted countries, and they've been drumming up that since last year, blaming places like China, Iran, Russia for cyber threats. Yeah, this is real and have many tools to keep the system alive. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. This, all of this, you have to start thinking. You have to start thinking for yourself. You have to start researching. Nobody can do it for you. You need to really see what's going on. You need to get the bigger picture of the whole agenda. I'll put all the sources in the links. You can go through them and read them for yourself. So thank you for listening to my video and see you in the next episode. After this, I'll be talking about um, the things that's going on today, and that will continue this week. And what's happening with Ukraine. That'll be the next episode, which I have planned and I knew very well because we know that they have been drumming up this past month, this past time now, some time now, for this military-industrial complex distraction to get people away from the scandals that are coming out. You know, the demand, 75 years of Pfizer. Everybody knows what's going on. What's going on for the past month. So they need something. They need something, a distraction, fast. Fast. It's not just happening in one corporate company. It's happening. It's happening in companies like Welcome Trust, which I can't find it. the article. I can find it a bit. You know, it's been happening. This this crumbling has been happening since late last year. I can't find the article, but I do remember my last article had my last video um, briefly went through that article from the Guardian that talks about all these scandals that are coming out. Wellcome Trust, Pfizer, Moderna. This is just part of a puzzle. You really, really, really need to start looking into this further and see the bigger picture. This is not over. We're far from winning. This is their goal, and this is the reality. This is the reality. I'm not satisfied, and I will never be satisfied until people get it. This is for our future. Is our future is in the wane. It's the future generation. So we have to really get a grip. I don't want to go and stay too much on this video now. So thank you for listening to this video, and see you in the next episode on that Ukraine. Bye bye. Have a great evening. Bye bye.